I've got to ask, are you gay? The comment appeared below an entry in my online journal. The journal was stuffed with the usual naive thoughts of a 13-year-old, but it also contained dreams about my friend Sarah. She was different from my other friends. She got me. That's why I talked about her all the time, wasn't it? The longer I thought about it, the more I wondered if the commenter was onto something. Maybe I did like girls. It would explain a lot, like my daydreams of raising kids with my best friends and my need to frequently reassure myself, I can think she's pretty and not be gay. And just like that, it clicked. I was gay. I came out to everyone over time. My parents took it well. My mom worried my life would be more difficult. My dad said, as long as no guy's thing gets near your place, I'm fine. The rest of my family followed suit, extending tolerance but withholding support. I suppose that's the Southern way when you're anything to the left of normal. I'd managed to garner a reputation in my comfortable suburban South Carolina bubble for being out and proud. Other LGBTQ teens began seeking my advice. I remember when a friend, following in my footsteps, came out to her parents. Her mother threatened to commit suicide if my friend didn't go back to being straight, as if that were even possible. As a gay teen living in the South, you rolled the dice each time you came out to someone, knowing you could either be hugged or killed. I met other members of the LGBTQ community who were disowned or who suffered beatings. I met parents who had to bury their children. The kindness and compassion of Elkie Kennedy still resonates. Her son, Sean Kennedy, was followed home after leaving a Greenville bar one night. His attacker punched him with such force that his face shattered and his brain separated from its brainstem. Elkie had to bury her son, but she refused to bury his memory. She gave out sunflower seeds at pride marches in hopes new life would bloom from the life of her child taken too soon. The gay men and women of the South, I carry their words with me. These stories, these violent acts by strangers or family, taught me to be scared. I woke up every morning in the Bible Belt never knowing which redneck or frat boy or angry kid would decide it was my day to die. But due to a combination of luck and constant vigilance, nothing has ever happened to me. Listening to that inner voice may be the only reason I've survived. My fear manifested itself in many ways throughout my life. There had been periods when it had been both legal and even encouraged to discriminate against me. Sex was illegal when I was 14, not because I was 14, but because I was gay. Being gay was against the morality clause I had to follow as a teacher. Gay panic was a legal defense for killing someone who was presumed to be gay. Killing a gay person wasn't a hate crime. Discrimination in my life hasn't been just fearing people on the street. I saw it in professors, co-workers, and supervisors. In college, I joined the Gay Straight Alliance and the Future Teachers Association and was successful in remaining active in both while keeping the latter from knowing my relationship with the former. It terrified me to think of trying to find a job after college as an openly gay woman. It was, and still is, legal to fire someone for being gay in South Carolina. I started to wear pearls and sundresses, longing to go unnoticed and thereby avoid scrutiny. I attended graduate school in a small South Carolina town. In my multicultural studies class, the dean of my program asked, "In your family, were you allowed to wear your church clothes after you got home?" It was a very long and serious discussion. I don't remember what answer I gave. Some lies or a coin toss. But that discussion did make me think back to my freshman year of high school when my church refused to baptize me. Drug abuse and premarital sex were easily forgiven, but as an unapologetic gay woman, I could not be saved. I was still in graduate school when the ban on same-sex marriage was overturned. Not long after, I, along with other professionals in our school district, scheduled a meeting with a student's same-sex parents. When the parents failed to attend, the educator spent the allocated hour discussing whether or not the kid had seen his two moms having sex, eventually concluding his home life may be where his deviance was manifesting. Even while I lived in fear, I found ways to make friends. Teachers would sit at a lunch table across from me. Someone would offer to share my office. A stranger would welcome me to their church. Even when I lied about my girlfriend being a boyfriend and avoided pronouns at all costs, people tried to get to know me, and because I was lonely, I let them. I accepted the chicken casserole they offered. I was touched when they asked about my mom or how my presentation went. I began to trust them. I considered them to be the family I had chosen for myself because it felt as if they had chosen me too. In the end, however, I had to live my truth, even if it meant leaving my friends and family behind. After graduate school, I moved to California and met my fiancé. The West Coast changed everything for me. For the first time since coming out, I could sail. When the 2016 presidential election rolled around, I should have said, if you care about me, you won't vote for Donald Trump, to all the people I left behind in South Carolina. But I didn't. I was too scared. Once again, I silenced myself and, in doing so, became complicit in the deprivation of my own rights. It didn't take long to find out that my own silence did nothing to help me. Over the years, the stories I'd heard from the LGBTQ community, stories that have become part of my story, had gone untold to all the people who knew me and loved me. After the election, when I voiced my concerns, they tried to reassure me. What are you worried about? Trump's not going to do anything to the gays. Gays are not an issue. Nobody cares anymore. I tried to tell them, don't tell me everything's going to be okay. Promise me that you will do everything you can to protect my life and my rights. They never did make that promise. Around Christmas, I went on social media and posted my fears of bringing my fiancé home with me for the holidays. Mere acquaintances commented with offers to escort us. My blood family, however, expressed zero concern. The family I chose for myself, the friends who chose me, were silent. As I am writing this, a confirmation hearing for Donald Trump's candidate for the Secretary of the Department of Health and Human Services, Tom Price, is underway. The congressman from Georgia is among the most conservative members of the House, calling Obama-era protections for transgendered individuals absurd and a clear invasion of privacy. He has been openly critical of the Supreme Court's ruling that allowed same-sex couples the right to wed, and he has voted repeatedly against hate crimes legislation, non-discrimination bills, and the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell. But why should I care? No one cares about the gay issue anymore. I moved away from the South, and I'm living my truth, but those changes don't take away the pain of being cast aside by the people I love most. I've struggled to reconcile the love I had for the friends and family who took care of me when I was at my lowest, and my bitterness when they carelessly chose to risk my life and my rights. I feel my emotions, anger, disappointment, spin like a coin in the air. The sense of betrayal motivates me to speak louder and more often. I will not let my story go untold. I wish those who said they supported me let their actions speak just as loudly. I will never know who considered me when they submitted their ballot, but I can still hear their silence. As Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, in the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. Thank you. If I can figure out how to close this.